Hey, it's Paris. You know, I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Nature Pact, Mari.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Tell us in a few words, what is Origin by Ocean?
Yes, Origin by Ocean is a company producing bio-based and biodegradable chemicals from invasive seaweeds. So for us, it's very important that we actually use something which is a problem in the nature, and then we turn that into something useful for all of us.
Does it all come from the ocean?
Yes, it comes from the ocean. So, so we are very much dependent on the ocean, but dependent in a way that we are not just extracting natural resources, but we are actually regenerating because we are using something which is a problem and turn that into an opportunity. So that's very important part of Origin by Ocean story.
How did you guys come up with the concept and the company?
Well, that's the funny story because it's actually Origin by Ocean has been a hobby of mine for a very, very long time. So I come from chemical industry. I've done my career in the past working for giants like BASF and these type of guys. And at the same time, I always had this very strong belief that chemical industry should cut the dependency to oil. And that was one of the things that I was focusing on, was to find new raw materials to produce biochemicals. And at the same time, I'm a scuba diver, so I've been diving around the world. And I started to see these invasive seaweed blooms appearing around the world. And then as a chemist, I'm always super interested in what do they actually contain in terms of molecules and what are the opportunities that there are that we are just not seeing them. We are just seeing them as a problem. So this is how it started, actually. I started to work on this idea in the evenings. I was building, the biorefinery and the markets and looking at kind of the whole value chain. And then I decided that, one day I will try to make it as a business. And here we are today.
Interesting. We've had a number of the divers and the swimmers and the ocean-related topics in general in the podcast series this year. So it nicely fits into the whole narrative. How does the stuff get out of the oceans? Do you, swim around and collect the waste or?
Yeah, so we are actually not harvesting. We call it harvesting. So we are not harvesting the seaweed ourselves, but we are actually buying that from harvesting companies. So we are even though that we are based in Finland, but we are very much active in the Caribbean, where the sargassum problem is such a huge problem that they have 50 million tons of sargassum blooming every year. And we can read from the news how bad the situation is in Gulf of Mexico, in the US today. So they don't actually have any choice than harvest sargassum. They have to do it because otherwise they would be like all the islands would be buried from that problem. So what we want to do, we want to work with the local communities and local businesses to buy sargassum from them. And that's how we have built, we call it a supply chain, how we have built our supply chain using that type of a network.
How far are you on that road already?
So we are 6 years old company. We started from scratch. We really developed the biorefinery process technology in the lab. We have developed the markets for the products and applications. And we are very happy that actually now we are about to build our first commercial production plant here in Finland. It's going to be up and running in 28. And it's a big thing, right? When you start from the idea and you build, from the cardboard box type of idea into the reality, especially in this chemical industry value chain, which is not the easiest one. And so now we are there. We've been building the supply chain in the Caribbean in past 5 years already. So we have very reliable partners and network there as well. And it's a big time for it in Bausch now.
Mm-hmm. Refinery sounds like huge. Can you somehow scale it? It's probably not fitable into the lab, right?
No, yeah, that's true. So that's a very valid point. So when we talk about biorefineries in general, we tend to think, and especially in the chemical industry, we tend to think that you have to build these very massive production plants. In a way, it's true. But at the same time, as we are producing added value products, we don't have to produce at the scale what you see for the bulk chemicals of today. So we are looking at our first of a kind production plant here in Finland will be 4,000 tons seaweed in and producing then 65 tons of alginate, which is one of our products, and 25 tons of Fukoidan, which is the other one. So that's kind of the scale. Of course, you need a space for it. And that's why we are very happy that we have a collaboration with CAP Group, a chemical company already having an infrastructure here in Finland that we can kind of like fit ourselves into the existing infrastructure.
Those two of your main products, what can be made out of them, or in which industries they are used?
Yeah, so alginate, I always called alginate our working horse because it's always doing a great job, and you can use it widely across the markets, from textile printing to cosmetics to food and to personal care. So it's giving certain textures for your products. It's giving a certain type of viscosity, sensitivity, or anything like that. Whereas Fukoidan is even more high in a value because we are looking at cosmetic and nutraceuticals. Fukoidan is a very interesting ingredient. It's not so well known in the Western countries, but it's super well known in Asia. And it has a lot of claims in terms of health benefits and others.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
The growth outlook. I mean, until 2028, do you manufacture in a garage, or how do you function until 28?
Yeah, so we have we call it a demo production. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we started earlier this year, and that has been a very, very important, let's say, a production site for us, because now our customers will have access to our materials, and they can continue developing the products and basically have a commercial relationship with us. So now we are producing from that site.
So basically, to also have a proof of market and the demand and so on, right?
Yes, exactly, and that's very, very important. And we were really brave. We actually started to work on this market fit already in 2020 when we got our first sample out from the lab. And I can tell you that the quality was not perfect. It was actually kind of a long way to get it to the perfect. But we wanted to get a feeling from our customers that, like, how do they see it? How do they use it? What are the issues that they are facing? And they actually helped us a lot to develop the process itself further when we got this information from the customers that, okay, we are facing these issues with your product. And this is how we managed to be very fast in the process development as well.
Tell us a little bit about the kind of, how would I say, the marketplace or the competitive market. Is there a lot of companies trying to make kind of chemical industry raw materials out of seaweed today, or how does it look like?
So in general, the seaweed-based chemical industry is very old. So we are looking at the first German patents from 1920s. And this is when Alginate...
They have probably gone out of date, right?
Oh, they have. Yes, they have. They are not valid anymore.
Yes.
And during those days in the chemical industry, it was very common to use bio-based polymers, especially. And Alginate was one of them. So the seaweed business to produce alginate has been there for a long time. However, it's using a very old conventional chemical process. It uses chemicals that we don't want to have anymore in our products or in our manufacturing processes. So there are still these players using this kind of an old way of producing these chemicals in different areas in this world. And other big difference is that, are you using wild harvested seaweed, kelp, or are you using farmed kelp, or are you using invasive species like origin by ocean? So in that sense, when you look at the field of competitors, you always have to look at the products, the process, and the feedstock, because the feedstock plays a very crucial role there in terms of overall sustainability, or if you want to use the word regeneration as we do. This is where the difference comes from. And then I have to add that, of course, and this is now very detailed chemical information, but polymers are always very different. So alginate, even though that is out there, but depending on the process and depending on your feedstock, you will actually have a very different product. And this is something that we are very interested in, to actually develop alginate as an ingredient, because we can see that ours is super different. And then also the fact that there are a lot of seaweed extracts as products out there, but we produce highly purified ingredients. So that's very, very different business.
How much does the different kind of seaweeds have an impact? I mean, I know, today recording this episode from the island of Saaremaa here in Estonia, I know that there is some companies here, also on the island here, who are extracting from a local seaweed chemical, ingredients. Yeah,
I think that the business is very different. Of course, depending what your products are, first of all. Extracting something and not purifying it is a very different ball game. And the seaweed extract business is a very different business, and we are not part of that. And when you were asking about the feedstock, that's super important. Like in our process, we can use all the brown seaweed species of this world, which includes the species that you are using also in Estonia, which is bladderwrack, Fucus vesiculosus, and we also have it in Finland. However, those are our key species in the Baltic Sea, so we have to farm them, that we shouldn't use them as wild harvested species, because the population is not so huge. So it really affects your overall process and affects the products that you want to produce. And I think there is a lot of room in terms of optimization of your processes and your products and how those actually fit into the feedstock. And this is something that Origin Potion, we have actually cracked the code there, how we can use different species and we can still get the same products out. But at the same time, using these different species, we can have this kind of a cost effect in terms of efficiency of the ingredients, how much the seaweeds actually contain a certain ingredient.
As a sports fan, I have to confess, sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
Hey business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
2028 is probably a big milestone in your company journey, but launching the company from scratch, have you guys raised capital already today, or are you planning to raise before that 2028?
So yeah, we have raised capital already. We have done our pre-seed and seed round already, and so that's what you have to do in this business in order to grow. Like, there are no way that we talk about quite a huge investment already today, millions of euros, what you need. And you need a very strong team as well. So we are now 30 ocean savers within our team, and you need to have a lot of different type of expertise and knowledge to build this. And now, of course, we are raising funds for this commercial plant. Yeah,
absolutely. And after that, probably for the scaling of the sales channel. At the same time, of course, if you do something totally unique, you might have a benefit of actually having demand, which is kind of buying most of the production from early days on.
This is very true. And this is actually a very, very important point. We have already sold some of our capacity from this upcoming production site. And that's very important for the investors to see that, of course, because the commercial plant is not there, but we are asking, a certain amount of money, that they need to see that that there is a real traction. And this is something that we are definitely working on. And we are very happy to see that there is a traction and people are willing to place we call them offtake agreements at this stage.
I know the offtake agreements have been were a really, really important part of the funding journey of one much larger Nordic startup who should not be mentioned here because they were not that successful. I'm referring to Northvolt and its journey. I mean, the offtake agreements enabled them to raise, was it like 5 billion or 15 billion or something like that?
Yes, that's very, very true. And I think it shows that the offtake is just one thing, right? But then the second thing is that how you build your customer relationship and how you actually so-called activate it, and how you make sure that the customers really want to have this material, which I think in our case, of course, coming from this industry, we need to work together from early on, and we need to have this technical proof of concepts in place in order to see that there is a real fit, that is not just saying that, okay, yeah, maybe it's a nice thing to have. And I think that it's an overall discussion about the strategy of your customer as well, that you need to understand that how this is fitting into being that sustainability strategy or new product strategy, that you really have a common understanding and a driving force behind it, that you actually want to do it.
Looking ahead, in the horizon of the next 12 to 24 months before the factory is ready, what is your biggest challenge?
I think there are always challenges when you are scaling up to this kind of extreme of building first commercial operations. But we have done our homework super well. And I think that's why we know how to mitigate and manage the risks. And that's, I think it's very important that you know what you don't know, and you also know what you know, and you know how to mitigate them. So I would say, it's a bit lazy to say that the financing is always the risk, but it is a real risk, especially in the world where we live today. I think it's clear for all of us that it's not the easiest, times to raise capital and build something new. But at the same time, I think we should be doing that now. And now Europe should really take a leading role here to build these first of a kinds in Europe and show that we can do these technologies.
As you mentioned Europe here, how do you ship the seaweed from Caribbean to Finland?
So we use normal ship containers, what we use for the fruits and all the other goods that we are shipping every day from the Caribbean. So there is nothing new there.
Not the thing you call in Finnish uitto. No, you can't put them in the water and ship it in the water.
No, we can't do that. No, it doesn't work that way. But luckily, we have these nice ship containers that we can use. And our idea, of course, in a long run, in 2032, we will switch the Finnish operations to local species and European species.
So, and maybe they have the separate entity in the Caribbean producing from the.
Yes, absolutely. So this is already in our plans with Grenada, which is one of the small island communities, and we are looking into this investment opportunity for the second commercial plant.
Good stuff. Thanks, Mari. Kiitoksia. Thanks for the discussion and good luck to your endeavors.
Thank you so much. Kiitos paljon.
If you like the show, subscribe and leave a good rating on the podcast platform of your choice. It would mean a world to us.
Listen. That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. The sound of captivating electric performance, dynamic drive, and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance redefined. The fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron.
Take the next 30 seconds to invest in yourself with Vanguard. Breathe in. Center your mind. Recognize the power you have to direct your financial future. Feel the freedom that comes with reaching your goals and building a life you love. Vanguard brings you this meditation because we invest where it matters most, in you. Visit Vanguard.com/investing in you to learn more. All investing is subject to risk.
Electricast.